such a fabulous getaway. This is supposed to be your birthday, but to be honest, it feels like our special treat, not yours.
That's fine.
Okay, I am probably Helen's oldest friend. I think I am actually officially your oldest friend, in more words than one.
Yeah.
I met her when she was 10 years old, in year 5. She was rather dumpy and shy.
Oh! She's moved on. After that, though, to be honest.
Helen's rather sophisticated sister was a first year in a secondary school. It's fair to say that at that time, Catherine was the more dominant of the two and rather more streetwise.
Woohoo! Yes!
Helen was downright gullible. Now, this is a story I bet neither of you can remember, but I do. One day, Helen and Catherine had the great luck of being given a bag of crisps each. Catherine polished hers off immediately, but Helen wanted to slowly savour hers and make them last during the morning. I've got a good game. I've got a good game, says Catherine. Oh, really? What is it? I tell you what, Helen, why don't you see how many crisps you can fit in my mouth in one Oh, says Helen, I bet I can fit a lot in. Poor Helen, it only then dawned on her what her wicked sister was up to. Helen was furious at the unfairness of it and vowed from that day on that she would dedicate her life to a career in law. Helen and I actually became closer in our early teens. In fact, we were pretty much inseparable. At school, we spent our entire time giggling and fooling around. Biology was a particular nightmare. I wish I'd got Katie to bring in her diagram of the male and female reproductive organs. It was priceless.
That was probably in the 50s.
We were a little gang of mates. Helen was one of the brighter ones in the bunch. Caroline, Katie and I were rather average.
I don't think that's true, actually.
But the rest of the class consisted of robust farmers' daughters and a few slightly mentally challenged girls whose parents felt it would be cruel to put them into mainstream education. No, it wasn't the best of private schools, but we had a ball.
Here.
Helen was the best mate ever. Living in Ripon, I spent most of my weekends at her house, much to her mother's mirth. Oh.
It's true as all got iPhones, they're all on the same route.
It's all going wrong.
You're doing really well there.
Thank you.
Really well.
And it was in their beautiful house on Rutland Drive where her dad filled us up with yummy Sunday dinners, and her mum was so kind and calm and laid back and made very few restrictions on us. Helen and I spent many hours in her beautiful white bedroom with the 70s melamine fitted wardrobe and matching vanity unit.
Oh, you made it then.
I was so jealous of that vanity unit. There we would spend hours practising putting on makeup and experimenting with our hair and clothes. Our main female influences at that time had standards of beauty which, quite frankly, were impossible to reach, as they mainly consisted of cartoon drawings from the latest Jackie comic. In fact, putting on makeup took most of the evenings, as often everything would go horribly wrong and the whole lot would have to be taken off and redone.
It's true.
We used a lot of compact powder in those days. This application procedure was particularly tricky, as get it wrong and we'd both end up looking like Miss Havisham on a bad day. In fact, the Miss Havisham look became our euphemism for too much powder, darling. Blusher was also a problem area.
It was a big problem.
Man, were we addicted to that stuff. Often we would look at each other and say, is my Russia too blue?
Yeah, we did.
Code for, is my blusher too rude? And the other one would say, why, is mine?
It's true.
Helen and I spent many happy hours talking in bed late into the night, pondering on the great questions of life, trying to understand the meaning of it all. One of the more important and continuing debates we had was,
oh no.
What happens, Beth, what happens when you get married and in the morning you have to wake up next to your husband and you haven't got your makeup on?
I still worry about that.
was a huge worry for us. An unimaginable situation.
It was actually.
Take it.
Helen decided that quite simply we would just have to get up an hour before our husbands, apply our makeup, which by then surely we would have mastered, and get back into bed.
That's what they do on the TV.
Yeah, absolutely.
Worse still than the makeup problem was, I bet you don't remember this, what happens if you've booked your wedding and your honeymoon, and then you've got your period. This was just too awful to contemplate.
Oh, love it.
It's true.
But as Helen said at that time,
What did I say?
as Helen said, at least it's not like those poor Indian girls who have to have their marriages arranged and they don't get a say in the date.
Oh, Helen.
That's true.
It was just too awful.
Consider
and we
it's the
stared into
end.
space and thank God Almighty for making us white and British.
Oh.
It's the daughter.
I don't think you quite get away with a comment like that
One night Helen broached a much more serious topic. We were probably about 14 at the time. Beth, she said, I bet you don't remember this, I
Oh
remember
my
it clearly.
God.
What is all this thing about contraception? What does it mean? Well, I said basically it means that, I think, a man has to cover up his willy so we don't catch the sperm. Oh, I see, says Helen.
I don't remember this.
Do you not remember? Well, you see, my husband won't have to do that. Oh, really? Why is that, Helen? Because I've started using Tampax. It's true! So I won't catch the sperm anyway.
See how naive I was, can't you think?
Really, all that giggling in biology did us no good. Yeah. Shall I even bother to tell the story of the infamous Sid who asked Helen to dance at the village horses?
I knew she'd bring that up.
God, I remember that disco so well.
So
Bohemian
do I.
Rhapsody was #1 in the charts. I spent
Oh.
the entire
On the
evening
village
snogging a
hall.
boy at the back of the hall.
And it's the first time I got tipsy.
Oh,
Is it?
Cider.
Oh,
yeah, we did drink
Well,
cider.
Katie, you were how old
What's
were
the
we?
date? Can you give us
How
the date?
old were we? Well, Bohemian Rhapsody #1, 1976.
Oh.
I think, 1975.
I would have been about 15 or
15.
16, weren't I?
So this
He
boy
was
comes up to
lovely.
Helen and
It
asks
was
her
like
to
Brian
dance.
May.
She proceeds.
good now.
She proceeds to run into the toilet and stays there all night.
Yes, I did.
We try and coax her out. 3 hours she was in that toilet.
What was Sid?
Was that fully
No,
way.
way.
Oh, that's the house or
fully
something,
put
hasn't
village
it?
hall.
We spent the rest of the year scrawling Siddy's ace over a rough book.
Oh,
That's what he tells us.
oh, well done, Beth. I remember those.
God, you've just taken us all.
Yes.
After O-levels, it's nearly over, don't worry. After O-levels,
My
Helen and
battery's
I
running
went to
out.
St Aidan's to do our A-levels.
Excuse me, can I just mention,
Yeah.
what about the Frim Fram Club?
Oh, we had a film from
I do remember.
Froggy Club.
Oh, that was your other friend. That must have been Sarah Lee.
Oh, I did do know Sarah, right.
So well. Where's Sarah?
Who's here? Who's
Yeah,
here?
he's
You,
down
not
there.
Sarah.
Exactly.
Move on.
After our O-levels, Helen and I went to St Aidan's to do our A-levels, where we met Fiona. We both realised, Helen and I, when we got to a normal school with normal girls, that we were slightly
Not Fiona then.
abnormal.
Yeah.
We needed to grow up fast. And it was then, with the influence of people like Fiona, that Helen really started to bottle down and do her studies. I'm keeping it clean, I'm keeping it clean.
Really not true.
Now, after A-levels, Helen and I became less involved in each other's lives. I went to Manchester Poly, where I discovered men and marijuana and how to be miserable. Helen went to Yorkshire. Was it Yorkshire Ladies? Or? Helen went to Yorkshire Ladies.
Secretarial college.
Yes,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
it was Yorkshire Ladies.
And discovered dedication, drive and determination. It's impossible to understand how such a shy little girl could turn out to be the successful woman that Helen is today. It's true to say sheer hard work and determination breeds confidence, and man, she worked hard. On top of working like a trooper, she's still being able to develop a wonderfully close relationship with her boys, who clearly adore her. And above all else, she's the perfect wife who truly holds the fort together. Your mum must be so proud of you. I know your dad certainly was. We all are. But to be honest, Helen, your real success should be measured by just how many friends you've got here today on your 50th. I'm sure there were others who couldn't make it. Helen, you're a brilliant friend, and you've got loads of brilliant friends. Well done, Bob.